This is a brief tutorial of the JVC GY HM650. This serves as an overview of the camera and its basic functions. First, insert the battery into the rear of the camera. The battery release button is located right above the battery slot. In order to use the camera with a tripod, you need to attach the tripod plate. You need to line up the screw and the pilot holes on the camera with the ones on the plate. And then you need to make sure that the side labeled with lens points towards the lens of the camera and screw in the plate. Insert an SD card into one of the slots next to the battery compartment. Next, you want to turn on the camera and open up the display screen. Now, in order to format the SD card, you need to press the menu/thumb button. Go down to System, press System, go to Media, press the middle button here, and go to Format Media, press that, and then Format Slot A. You can see that A has the SD card in there currently. Press that, and you want to tap up, highlight Format, and you format it. And then when you're done, it says complete, and you can press the menu again, and it will go back to the camera. Next, you want to hook up your external microphone, also known as a shotgun mic. So what you need to do is you need to unscrew this little guy right here, and it will open up like this. Then you take your shotgun mic, and you want the mic to face towards the lens. So what you'll do is you'll put the shotgun mic in like this, put it down, and screw it together. Next, what you want to do is you want to take your XLR cables. You have a male right here, female right there. So what you want to do is you want to connect the female end into the end of your shotgun mic, like that. And then what you want to do is you want to connect the male into channel 1, input 1, on your camera. The audio panel is hidden behind the display screen when the display screen is folded in. So you open up the display screen, here's your audio panel. So go to the audio panel and make sure that channel 1 and channel 2 are both set to the proper input. In this case, we would put it to input 1 for the shotgun mic. Input 1, input 1. And if you weren't going to use a shotgun mic and just wanted to use the camera mic itself, you'd put to INT, which is the internal microphone for channel 1 and channel 2. Next, you want to make sure that you can see settings such as battery life and available recording time on your display. If you cannot see these functions on the display, press the display button located on the audio panel. So see, you can see everything on display, battery life and how much time you have left on the card. So if you don't want to see that, you hit display, which is right here, and then take a look, and everything's gone, right? So if I hit display, everything will show back up. If I hit it twice, it'll show literally everything. So 1 shuts it off, 2 brings up your audio levels and just some basic information, and if you hit it 3 times, you'll get your battery and how much time's left on your SD card. So next, you want to make sure that the low lux is off. As you can see here in the screen, it says lux 30, that means it's on. So you want to shut that off because, as you can see, the picture is very grainy and it just doesn't look good. So you want to see where the low lux button is, so I'll show you that. So as you can see, the low lux button is right here. So what you want to do is you want to press that, and it will shut off the low lux. And we can take a look at the screen. You can see the difference. As you can see, the low lux is off, and because you don't see the lux 30 in the corner. So I'm going to turn the low lux on. You can see the difference when it gets blown out. When I say blown out, I mean that it gets really washed out in color and very bright and grainy. So that's low lux off, low lux on. So you want it off. So next, what you want to do is make sure that either it's in full auto or in manual mode. So how you do that is you take a look right down here, and you'll see full auto on or off. So if you want full auto on, that means that you want it to take care of the focusing and the color temperature and all that fun stuff. So it's essentially like a point and shoot camera. Or if you want to adjust the white balance and your use manual focus and all those things, you want it off. If your shot is too bright or too dark, check your neutral density filter or ND filter located to the right behind the adjustment rings. So if it's too bright, you want to turn up the ND filter. And if you're inside and you need more light, turn it off. If your shot is too bright or too dark, check your ND filter, also known as a neutral density filter, located right behind the adjustment rings. The ND filter, when engaged, dims your shot. If it is set to the off position, it will be brighter, and if it is set to 1/64, it will be darker. So, for example, if you're inside, you'll want it off because you have enough lighting, hopefully, like we do in this studio. But if we're outside on a very sunny day, we're going to want it over 1/64 to help dim the shot so it's not too blown out. Also, you can change the shutter speed to allow different amounts of light to enter the camera. The smaller the ratio, the brighter the shot. But the drawback is that the video will be choppy at low settings. To change the shutter speed, first make sure that the shutter speed is set to manual. If there is a small A in the white box followed by a 1/60 at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, then the shutter speed is set to automatic. So it's set to automatic right now. So next, here is the shutter button right here. Shutter, so you press that to make it manual, and then to engage it, so you can switch the different shutter speeds, you hit the middle button here, and then the up and down button will go from 1/60 to 1/100. So we'll show you what it looks like on the screen. So next, if you want to white balance, you look down here and you'll see white balance. And on the screen, if it's in auto white balance, it will say FAW, and if it is manual, it will give you a number of 3400. So what you want to do, if you want to do manual, you hit the white balance button, and then what you do is you point it towards a white piece of paper and you press this button right here, and that will adjust to the color temperature you want. You have A or B, so you can set two different color temperatures, and then preset is just a preset value for color temperature on the camera. So we'll show you how to do it on the screen. Now if you look at the bottom screen right there, you'll see FAW for auto white balance. So I'm going to hit the white balance button and you'll see 3400K. So that means it's manual. And remember the little button I said to touch? What you do is you get a white piece of paper and you hit that and it'll take white balance. And then, like I said, you have A or B. So you can set another one for B. So this is B. And then you have A and B are set. And then you have preset, which looks blue. So that's like the preset color temperature that's set for the camera. But typically you just use automatic for these settings. So the next thing we're going to look at is the gain switch, which has a low, medium, and high. And that's located right next to the white balance, the A, B, and the preset. Next, we're going to talk about gain. As you can see, gain is right here next to the white balance button. So you have a low, medium, and high. And the way this works is, in most situations, you'll want to keep it on low, but if you need more light, then you adjust the switch to medium or high. Keep in mind that the more gain you add, the grainier the footage will be. It is almost always best to adjust the iris before adjusting the gain. Next, we're going to look at the iris, which is located right next to the gain. So you'll see iris is right there. So the way iris works is, if you want to be in auto, it will have an A next to it on the screen. If it's in manual, it won't. So what you want to do is you want to press the iris button to make it either automatic or manual. And then if it's in manual, what you can do is you can use this ring right here to adjust your brightness of your shots. And then say you are in manual, but you're so confused of where it should be, because maybe you're seeing the colors wrong, you can push auto real quick, and what it will do is it will adjust it to where it would be if it was set to automatic, and then you can do your fine tuning with this ring to get the perfect color. What we're going to talk about next is autofocus and manual focus. So where this is located is right next to the neutral density filter. So you have manual and you have autofocus. Manual focus is for when you want to manually focus. So if you're in manual, this is your focus ring right here. So you focus on your subject. If you don't want to have to focus, set it to autofocus and it will focus on its own. One of the last things we're going to look at is how to zoom. So if you look, there's 3 different ways to zoom on this camera. One being right here, which is like the main, and then there's another one on the top right here, and then the third is the ring right here. As you can see, it's a little handle right here. But when it's in servo mode, you can't do that. It forces the camera and it's just bad for the camera. So you want to do is you want to shut off all of the zoom controls on this camera. So the way to do that is you look underneath here, the zoom control. It's on servo, so that means all of the buttons work. So you want to switch it to manual. When you switch it to manual, you control it, the zoom, with this right here. And if you try to use any of the other buttons to zoom, it doesn't work. So if you want to use the buttons, you need to go back and set this to servo. The next thing we're going to talk about is the record buttons. So there's 2 record buttons on this camera. One being right here on the top. As you can see, it says record. And then the other one is right there. As you can see, they all have a little red dot on them. So it's pretty self-explanatory. And if you look at the camera here, you'll see standby. So that means it's not recording. When you hit the record button, you'll see REC with a red button. You also see this on the top go red. So you know you're recording when that is red, and when you're not recording, it's not red. So that's how you record on this camera. Next, we're going to take a look at is your headphone jack, so you can listen to what's going on. The headphone jack is located right here. You can see your little headphones right there. And if you want to plug in a remote, the remote is down here. It says remote right on it. And then below that is your DC power. So you plug it in, make sure it doesn't die. So you have your remote and your DC power right there. It is important to take note of all audio levels while recording. Make sure to listen, but also keep an eye on the levels that are displayed on the lower left of the screen. Make sure that there are audio levels visible and that they never hit red. This concludes the tutorial of the JVC GY HM650.